Okay, so now, the day-to-day grind, the day-to-day networking engineer, the day-to-day NOC operator. So we have to make some choices as we're actually going down and dealing with our career, okay? And this philosophy, as far as a concept of what to do, is based on a guideline, okay? I had made a comment the other day, okay? Because information, okay, is the greatest thing on the planet and the worst thing to absorb in somebody's specific psyche. Meaning that some people just should not take microbiology, okay? They'll never be the same. That information that's given to them is detrimental to their day-to-day behaviors and makes them psychotically drawn within due to the fear of what is sitting on their eyebrows. Okay? Alright? Shaving all their hair off their eyebrows, scrubbing it with bleach. Okay? Because someone had told them how many living organisms is sitting on their eyelashes. Okay? So that person cuts them all off. Alright? Ends up damaging their eyes in the process. You know, poking it in their eye by mistake. You understand? So information can be just as dangerous. Okay? A frozen pizza, for instance. Okay? You go in, you open up the package, your roommate is so frantic and flipping out, okay? Because you did not preheat the oven. You threw it in a cold oven, you read the back of the directions, and it says 10 to 15 minutes. You threw it in there for 15 minutes in the cold oven. Guys, who gives a shit? Okay? But that person does. Because that person, okay, believes what they read as far as instructions is law. Okay? He or she goes to Walmart and buys soup cups. Okay? You, as the roommate, loves the soup cup. Okay? Alright? It's perfect for your teas. Nice and big and thick. I mean deep. Okay? It's perfect eating cereal out of it. However, you have created the greatest crime on the planet. Okay? And your roommate snatches that cup from you with your cereal in it because it's not soup that you put in that cup. So what you are doing is wrong. It's incorrect. Okay? You are destroying the balance of Murphy's Law and the universe because a soup cup was made and you are not using it for the proper intended purpose. Okay, same thing with soup spoons. You use a soup spoon to put your fiber mix into water and mix it. How dare you? Okay, all right. So based on that, what I'm going to tell you in this video, the guidelines. Okay, all right. Obviously, what I'm going to give you is a sense of common reference, or I should say my experiences. Okay, I all these. I guess I didn't. What number are we on here? Oh my God. Now I gotta go back and see. 18, 17, 18, 19, 20. So this will be 21. Okay. All right. Now, the information in this video is for you to to have in the back of your mind what you are looking for. Okay? You have no experience. So you go out and you go to CCNA. Now, I'm going to be frank with you and honest with you. Okay? Alright? I watched a video the other day, and this the scientist that was speaking literally said, it's when a scientist comes to me and provides me a theory within an email or within a document, okay? All right? The proper way of doing that is to actually take it to the committee for a sense of review, okay? Now that person is bypassing that process, okay? Or maybe they're looking at it from my perspective, or for me to actually give it an okay before it goes to review. I'm not sure. But what I am sure of is when I see something in their theory that is scientifically incorrect, it is my responsibility, okay, as a peer scientist, peer reviewing his documents, okay, to tell him bluntly that he is wrong, okay, and give him an explanation on why he is wrong. So I'm going to be frank, okay, we do not take CCNAs seriously. We just don't, okay? And the only way we're going to take you seriously is, for real, you better be a candidate that took their studies seriously, okay? You know, you use a company like Pass for Sure, I don't even know if they still exist at all, okay? And cheat on your exam, okay? We're going to know it. All right, we're going to know it. All right, I've mentored 2 people, okay, in my career, all right, with the greatest experience on the planet, okay? Not just for them, but for yourself as well, okay? If you get a chance to mentor someone, definitely do it. Just make sure it's not for selfish reasons. Now, one person you could tell was very well with his studies. He took it very seriously, okay? That gentleman, all right, which is unheard of, had watched every video that I had produced. I don't give a shit if it was an hour and a half long. He listened to every one, okay? All right? If I had to pick an annoyance, which wasn't annoying, I mean, it's just it's a simple answer. I don't know, and I don't care. All right? Is every log message that came across the logs, okay, all right, or the console message, he would ask me what that meant, okay? Some of them were great questions, okay, and they were answered, and it gave me a better understanding of why that message that popped up. Lots of them, I didn't know, and I didn't give a shit, okay? And I would tell them, I was like, man, don't get so harped on the actual messages. There's lots of things in the background that you as a network person don't really need to know or don't really care about. You can do research on that stuff, okay? But there's lots of things you're not going to get the information from, okay? Even calling Cisco, okay? They'll just tell you that's an arbitrary message. We don't know why it's there, okay? That's something that is the programmers or the developers created, okay? And in fact, we reached out to them and they don't even know, okay? It was placed there and the person who designed it was not there anymore, or whatever the story is. All right, going back to information being a bad thing. All right, so now this individual, if I asked him a question, okay, his answer could be dead wrong. However, the in-depth reason why he answered the question with that answer was there. All right, it was obvious his understanding of the technology, whether it was on point or not. Okay, even if he learned the technology in the wrong way, there was a method of process to get him that level of the understanding of that technology. And okay, my job was to just my responsibility as a mentor was to push him in the right direction, giving him a better understanding. No, it doesn't work that way. This is how it works, okay? All right, and this is why it works this way. All right, tons of whiteboarding, because that's what we do. And so on and so on. The second person that I was mentoring, okay, I eventually stopped the mentoring, okay, because every question that I would ask him, as far as he's asking me what's going on, and I'm bringing out, okay, well, what do you think is going on? How does this particular technology work, right? He would be so far off, okay, and I'm not kidding. I eventually asked him, okay, did you cheat on your exam? No. Okay, now at this point, what am I noticing, right? Body language, okay, facial expressions, scratching your ears, moving your head, not looking me in my eyes, okay, all right, your bullshit coming off your body language, all right, you're flat out lying to me, okay, and our relationship from a mentoring perspective is done. I'm not going to tell you that, but I'm not going to waste my time with someone, okay, who has a CCNA, all right, uses that certification as a means of getting a job. That's why you have the problems that you have. All right, it's not a lack of understanding; it's you don't understand at all. All right, you're in this game for money. You're in this game to be dishonest, and we have, and when I mean we, the real engineers, the real people doing the work, and you're going to find that regardless the team is, all right, that regardless of who it is, if it's a good team, all right, every one of your teammates is pulling their weight, all right, flapping back and forth, helping others pull their weight as you're getting help as well, all right. No stone is unturned because we're all on point, all right. Next time that type of team is, which is ridiculous, okay, and I've seen it in organizations. No reason why your networking team should be 20 people within the networking team and none of them have a skill set. All right, that shows you a reflection of management. Okay, and that reflection of management is attitude reflects leadership. Okay, you can see the people's attitude being reflected by the leaders of that of that team, and you can see that the hiring process is a joke. Okay, all right. Now the person that's there, he's an IT manager. Okay, but obviously has no concept of what that responsibility is because there's no sense of common reference. He should not be in that position. Okay? Now, you're talking to someone here, myself, if I belong in that position, hey, I don't want that responsibility. Okay? Put me on the front lines, okay, as a soldier. Let me do my implementation. Let me do my engineering. All right? I ain't got time to be managing other people. Now, as a team lead, okay, that gives you a sense of management, and would start realizing that on an average, okay, 20% of the people will be doing 80% of the work. Okay? There's always going to be those teammates that don't answer the phone, okay, that always has an excuse of why they couldn't respond to your IM, okay? All right? I don't say DM, okay? There was no reason to change instant message over to the direct message. Okay, now from the concept of a direct message is going directly to someone, well, what the hell is the instant message doing? It's doing the same thing. Someone decided to change that method. Just like I was talking about before, the units of measurements. It's just another term, okay? So now, you as a person, okay, you want to go and get your CCNA, all right? If you want, now your interview, all right, so your interviewing process is going to be a lot different from a CCNA certified individual, okay, and a CCNP. With a CCNP, okay, all right, advanced rally guys took me a year. I tried to do that, I made a goal for 6 months. Okay, and when your goal of finishing something doubles, and you're like way. I'm like, man, I'm way off on that. I had no idea it was like this. If it wasn't for the content that I was learning, okay, that part was not frustrating enough for me to actually quit. Okay, but sometimes in life we do things like, man, this is way too complicated. Okay, I didn't know it was going to be this difficult, and you just found out done. All right, you go do something else. So there's a sense of, okay, all right, mad respect, brother, for passing your CCNP. Okay, so I got some questions for you, right? And now I'm going to take you a little bit more seriously as a professional. Okay, as a CCNA, all right, you have to bring something to the table, all right? Meaning that the mindset of the interviewer is completely different. Oh, this guy's a CCNA, all right, here we go. Here we go, another CCNA. All right, let's bounce this guy out the door, okay? All right, and your interview goes well because the concept of the technology that you explain to them and answering their questions correctly is on point. So now, as a CCNA individual, okay, especially when you're telling them you're doing advanced routing at the moment, or advanced switching, or the troubleshooting exam, or however the track is today, because once you're done with those tracks, you don't go back and actually, pay attention. Even as an instructor myself, I do not go. I haven't looked at the CCNA criteria. I couldn't even tell you what exams you need to take to be a CCNA, or what being a CCNA entails. Okay, that is history. That's long gone. All right, and it has nothing to do with me being able to teach you a skill set, because that's what I do. I'm not teaching you to pass no damn exam. You do that on your own. All right, the content that I give you is going to help you with passing that exam, but I have no interest on explaining to you, what's on the exam. All right, I couldn't do that anyway because of non-disclosures of Cisco. So now, non-disclosure. All right, that once you are certified, okay, you're signing that paper before you take an exam. Okay, all right, you're not allowed to discuss anything that's been on the exam directly, all right, or you will lose your certification. So keep that in mind. Now, as a CCNA, you want to get into the field. Okay, what's going to end up happening on an average, not saying this is everyone, on an average, what's going to happen is you're going to be getting a lot of calls from help desk. Okay, all right. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. All right. The last help desk place I worked at, okay, and this is after I was a senior engineer, okay, all right, I had some health issues and I just wanted some income, okay, all right, it was still within my salary range, and the help desk needed someone with networking skills, real networking skills, so they could expand their support in that industry, okay, so you walk in. All right, everyone has a desk. Okay, everyone's doing their stuff. All right, and you look around, and everyone's doing PC basic stuff, software basic stuff, blah 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 blah. Not really. Not really. I mean, some of them are on the phone for hours. Trying to solve a problem. Okay, and then me. Okay, in that industry, I'm the only network guy. I am the network guy that allows them to be in that era of support. Okay, so that help desk concept, that was a necessity. Okay, that wasn't me going backwards, that was me going sideways. Yeah, I'm not an engineer, okay, but I was able to still do my networking job and provide the skill set. Okay, all right, and it's a different concept of doing engineering for a company in the background for the infrastructure, okay, than it is for thousands and thousands of customers calling in for help desk support, okay, all right, and you have a responsibility of providing network support. And I'm gonna have to admit, it's cool as shit, because the problems that you have, is like, well, that's an odd problem, all right, okay, and you're diving deep, and the next thing you know, it's like, you know what, our whole entire network team, Kyle, no one can figure this out, all right, and they're happy, they're excited, they're glad, and you provided that support to make them want to call the company back. Okay, that shit is cool as shit. Alright, and plus you're the only guy. Every time there's a network person, let me refer you to Kyle, our network guy. He's great, he's fantastic. The man is king. The man is king of data when it comes on the network, right? You hear that in the background. It's cool as shit, right? Now, I didn't need that type of confident booster, but I didn't turn it away either, alright? Sometimes we need to be solidified on who we really are, because we don't see ourselves who we are. We're too busy downing ourselves, telling ourselves we're incapable. Okay? So now, you're a CCNA. You get a job at help desk. If you are working on PC stuff that's irrelevant to networking, okay? Alright? Yes. This is not the job that you want. So, what you do not do, okay, is quit and go find another job, okay, because you're going to end up getting back into the same position if you're hired, okay. What you do is you sit there for a year, okay. Now what you have done that first year is you're now in the IT field, okay, all right. Your first IT job ever, you're now an IT guy, okay. All right, and you have a year of experience and backed up, dated and proof of existing in this industry. That is priceless, okay? Because now, during that time frame, what you should be doing, which most don't, okay? Because the last thing you want to do is 5 years later, and I find out that you're still in that damn help desk position. You and I are gonna have to sit down and have a little chat, all right? Especially when you are coming to me to say, why can't I move ahead? You know, why can't I advance? So I'm telling you how to advance. Now, that first year, the only focus you should be on, okay, is preparing and working on your CCNP to get to that next level. Okay? All right, guys. 1 year of IT experience is golden with a CCNP. Because now it took you a year to get that CCNP, all right, on your lunch break, okay? Every time you took a break, you get there early, right? So you can get a good hour of reading, all right, off your plate, okay? All right, you know, you're with a bunch of help desk guys, all right? Someone's going to be able to install software somewhere on your PC, right? Get them to put Genius 3 on your machine, or Packet Tracer, okay? Now, I don't give a shit if it's Packet Tracer. I'm not a Packet Tracer guy, but don't think that I did not use Packet Tracer for my switching, because the switches that I was using was 1900 series, and the iOS was menu-based, not command line-based. All right, so I couldn't use the switches that I paid for. I didn't have money to get new switches yet. I was poor. All right, I was jobless. So Packet Tracer not only allowed me to practice span tree and things of that nature from a software perspective. Watching the packet go from level from hop to hop, yo, that was priceless. Okay, so it has its benefits. Don't get me wrong. All right, but I'm a real equipment guy. That's what I do. All right, nothing's ever going to change that. Okay, if I wanted to run ICE, the only virtualization I'm going to have is a virtual machine as the server. Okay. I'm not going to go out there and get something like Bolson software, okay? Because Bolson will brag about how their stuff is, amazing, okay? All right, but it's just an emulator, all right? And it's software-based. You're not using the real iOS, okay? Genius 3 is an application, but you're using the iOS. And that is what you're learning, is the operating system. Because Cisco is known for their software, okay? Not just their hardware. All right, and that is the real learning by using the real operating system, how it functions, how it works. This is what you're going to be logging into on your job. Unlike Microsoft will say, okay, you have this scenario, blah, 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 blah. What you need to do is add a new domain controller. Okay? All right? And then you pitch that to your employer. And your employer says, well, yeah, I ain't got the money for that. We got to find a way to fix this. Okay? And you are providing the Microsoft solution to that problem. Okay? And that's it. All right? And you're just like, hey, we can't do it another way. And guess what? They fire you and find somebody else that can. So, all right. So, with the things that you learn about Microsoft could be on that platform where it's not really the solution that you're able to provide in the real field. Where Cisco, every command you learn is what is done in the real world of networking, and that, my friend, is golden. Going to school has no purpose, okay? Because school's not going to teach you how to balance your checkbook, okay? How to deal with life. They're not going to. Their job is to give you a sense of intelligence from a general aspect point of view. Working your brain, teaching you math, teaching you English, teaching not only whether you fail these subjects or not, there is something you're getting out of it. So there's some type of self-awareness, okay? A master's degree, all right, doesn't mean that you're going to go out and be a master, okay, in your field. What it means is you stuck the bullshit out, okay? You did something over a period of time. You set goals, okay, regardless if it was direct or indirect, okay? You went to class every day, whether you did or didn't. You passed the exam. You did whatever it took to finish your degree. You finished. And I give you mad respect for it because you finished. All right? Not because of what you learned. CCNP, same concept. Okay? CCNA, even more. Okay? Because anybody who has gone through the CCNA, which most fail, most quit, because of the intensity and the issues and the drama you go through. Okay? Most will actually will put their job first. Okay? And never get to the studying. All right? Never. Some people put the priority of the studying first, okay, because they're trying to better their career, and that's what I did. All right? So during my lunch period, I'm reading, I'm labbing, okay? I'm getting to work 2 hours earlier so I can get 2 hours of labbing out of the way. All right? Okay? That was my priority. So now, you are sitting at a help desk, and next thing you know, you get your CCNP, okay? You let your help desk person know, your employer, okay? Everyone congratulates you. Great job, okay? And now, you don't move. You're still in the same position, okay? And look around, okay? Maybe your help desk center, your call center doesn't support real networking positions, okay? So now, what do? Well, you drive your to get to the direction you want to get, okay? And you go out, and now it's time to get a real networking job, okay? You're not going to quit that help desk, okay, job until you find another one. You're going to move from one to the other, still being employed, okay? All right? And sometimes, okay, let me give you a little advice here. Sometimes you want to take a week off of the help desk job just to see what it's like in the other one, because the other one could be some bullshit. They can tell you you're a network admin, and you're not allowed to even console the devices. They got a third party doing it. Okay, that's not a real networking job from your mindset. So you're like, fuck that. I'm going back to the help desk and look for another job. Okay, now I don't care what it is. Okay, but you have no experience, none whatsoever in the networking field. So any networking job that allows you to get on the command line, you need to take for your first network position. You are creating building stones and building blocks. Okay? You're not going to be an engineer right off the bat. You are working towards that. And you're going to take your stepping stone, okay? My real stepping stone was an engineer position, and I had to stop it. I just wasn't ready, okay? All right? I'm like, this is just too much. No one's explaining anything to me, okay? They're expecting me to know this stuff, okay, which I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, okay? I can't perform the work, all right? Every time I ask a question, they're looking at me like, how the fuck did you get this job, okay? And they're right, all right? There's missing steps, okay, before I got there. I got there too fast, all right? So what did I do? All right, the job that I took next was not an engineer position because I could have played on that. I could have said, look, I've been a network engineer for a year. I'm capable of being an engineer, all right? And I could play off that and focus on the money and stuff like that. No, I took a cut in pay, okay, a deep cut, all right, and worked in a NOC, all right? NOC, Network Operating Center, all right? This is where you want to be. If I would say, hey, the ideal place to be, okay, as getting into the networking field is the NOC, okay, all right? The NOC can work in any way, shape, or form as it's done by the company. It does not matter. Two things you're going to learn, all right? The way a company does something is their way of doing it, okay? So you get your first networking job and you work for 5 years at that company. You have no concept of how anybody else does anything, okay? So you go into another job telling them, no, that's not how we do it. That's not how you do it in the industry. You're wrong. You don't know. You have no common reference. You have no concept of what's done in the industry because you've only worked at one place. And you might be the man at that particular job, okay? All right, you might be the lead, and that's because 5 years on that network, the same problems keep happening over and over and over again, and you're capable of fixing it because you already know what the problem is. All right, put you on another network, all right, half that size, okay, even half that complexity. You're done. You're useless. Okay, you got to relearn the network. Okay. And if you take that attitude that this is how it's done and this is how the industry is done, okay, you're done. Because the moment you come to my organization, okay, and trying to re-engineer where you're not an engineer, okay, not even close, and you want to drop my routing protocol, okay, all right, and I have no understanding on why that protocol was used for whatever reason, all right, because it's not just the best reason and best practices that we use to make our decisions, all right? It's the company's decision in the end. You are communicating with someone who does not do your job, and they're the ones with the money, and you need their money to make the changes you need to make, all right? And the answer, most of the time, is probably going to be no. The company's not going in that direction. Maybe you had a problem with a particular protocol based on hardware limitations. Okay, maybe CPU couldn't handle the calculations, so you decided to go another direction. Okay, all right. But in your mindset, for 5 years you worked in this company, you think this is the world, and you're clueless. All right. Now, you might work in a state like I work in the tri-state area of Virginia, D.C., and Maryland. Okay, we're what is called a at-will state. Okay, all right, and that at-will state means they can get rid of you at any time, and you can leave at any time. Okay, now you decide this isn't for me. You stayed for 3 months, you left. All right, and took another contract, right? And that company, before you actually got hired, they're worrying about you leaving the job too fast. Okay? All right? This is, hey, I don't have that problem here. because it's an at-will state. Okay? I can have 10 jobs on my resume, 3 months length, okay? And it's understood that this is what happens in our field because it's an at-will state, okay? And it's not done in a manner where you can grow off of it, okay? The only growth you can have in some scenarios is the fact that brush it off and move on. Because 9 times out of 10, when you're let go, okay, you are thinking, what did I do wrong? And you didn't. Okay? All right? So scenario number 1. All right? I have a big contract. Okay? Let's say Walmart. Walmart hires our company. Okay? And we're going to replace every Walmart store's routers and switches internally on their devices. They want to go to do a network equipment refresh. Okay, all right. Maybe they're going to voice over IP. Maybe they have to go to a different version that could support the actual, the actual cards to actually like version 3 cards of the PVDM cards. I can't remember. I've done a little bit of voice. I'm just not an expert on it. I can't remember. I think that's the name of the card. Okay, which will actually convert your voice traffic or your voice, the sound of your voice over into data to move down on the wire. Okay, so that's what that card's for. All right, maybe their routers can't support that card. Okay, so we need to go from the 2800 to a 2900 router. All right, so they can use voice over IP. This is stage 1. Okay, so your company, okay, all right, is Kyle Incorporated. And Kyle Incorporated calls you and brings you on staff. Okay, and you're sitting in a meeting. Okay, all right, this is relatable. This is one of those scenarios. This is how things are done sometimes. Okay, all right, you're sitting in a meeting and you realize as you're talking what's really going on. Okay, they have had Kyle Incorporated has been dealing with Walmart for over 2 years. Okay, communicating, talking about sales, giving them information, having meetings, doing whiteboarding. Okay, some sales engineer or a solution engineer together at Kyle Incorporated had provided Walmart with the information for them to plan. Okay, and give them a plan from Kyle's Kyle's Incorporated to show Walmart, first of all, we know what we're doing, and 2, this is what we're going to do. Okay, we're going to whiteboard with drawings and PowerPoint and invoices or estimates. Estimates. Okay, we're going to charge them for that time. Okay. All right, on a consulting basis concept of being able to get them to the next step to do this. Okay, and then eventually we're going to give them an estimate price to do the entire project. The entire project is rated over a 5-year period. Okay, now you as Kyle Incorporated, okay, Kyle Incorporated decided, okay guys, we got to think very clear about this because what's happening is Walmart is going to give us a list of things that need to be done over a 6-month period. Now, every 6 months, if all those criteria are met that needs to be completed, okay, we get a $15,000 check to move on to the next 6 months, or a $1.2 million check to move on to the next 6 months, okay? Every day we are past the due date of those items being done, we are going to be we're going to be charged with a penalty, okay, of $15,000 a day. All right, so we need to be on point with this. Okay, now we get our first $1.2 million. Okay, now at that point, we have already built them for our consulting and stuff like that, but now we're in the project now. We have pulled the trigger, we got the approval, and we got a $1 million check. Now, we're going to start work immediately, 2 weeks. That means in a 2-week period, I got to have 5 network engineers hired, briefed, and up to date on what we're going to be doing. So before I did that, during the process of the consulting stage, okay, for us it's stage 1, but with Walmart stage 1 is that initial $1.2 million check. And that now in stage 1 of Walmart, what we're doing is now we have already up to that point in our stage 1 created a configuration template. Okay, we've already engineered how we're going to do this based on the information and questions that we asked Walmart on exactly what do they need. All right, and we created configurations on this. All right, and now check this out. We have a notepad with all the configurations for the switches and for the routers. We cookie cutted this in a way where engineer comes in, okay, and this needs to be briefed on what we're doing. Okay, guys, we're doing aggressive changes. We're going to have a change every night. Okay, everybody gets their own building, their own store number, their own change. Okay, and this is what we're going to do. First step, okay, save your configs. Second step, make sure that when you console in, okay, your session is recorded and logged. All right, okay, you must check every box from the first step to the second in sequence. You cannot go to step 3 without doing step 1 and 2. Okay, now, okay, you need to save your configs. Then you need to take take the configs, because as you're logging your session, and do a terminal 0, what you don't know what that means yet, but we'll get to that. This is not this video, that will allow you to actually do a show run and not do it page by page. It's going to run the whole config. Now, once you run that command, it goes by so fast, you don't see shit. You can't make it out. However, all that information is now in a text file. So now you have a copy of the run config. Okay, you take that, all right, take it out of your document, you save it in a new document, and you say Walmart store, store number, store dash, okay, so Walmart _ store dash 1333, that's the store number, okay, and the host name of the device. Okay, that's your naming convention. All right, and you upload it to Kyle Incorporated Walmart folder in their actual file server via WinSSP, right? Okay, now you check that box off. All right, and now, okay, now you've got that part done. Now tomorrow it's time for you to actually do the work. So you're going to physically go down to Walmart, all right, you yourself, and do the things you're doing, because regardless if you're working remote or not, or working on site at Kyle Incorporated, all right, be able to go on site and do this. However, okay, that's time consuming. So I don't want you to do that, okay? I want you to sit and be the person who actually controls the change and controls the environment. So you're sitting at your computer on a conference call where I can hire a field tech, okay? Because I'd rather pay the person, the Cisco guy, $50 an hour to do the configurations and do the things to do, and just pay someone $15 an hour to be the field tech, the hands and eyes. That individual goes out, okay, and he logs into the computer, all right, and then you're going to remote desktop into his PC, okay, or use WebEx so he can share his screen, and then guess what? Okay, now you have access of control of that machine. He gives you control. You're now consoled into the device, all right, and you start pasting your configs, and he just sits there until you tell him the next thing to do. All right, power it on. rack the unit. Make sure the cables are, make sure, before we change out the switch, okay, I have to go through and take a look, okay. You do a short VLAN brief, all right. You print that out, all right. Now you have all the actual ports and where they go, what VLAN they're in. So now you say, look, cable 1 goes to cable 1. Maybe you change the VLAN way, and that makes more sense. First 10 on VLAN 10, second 10 on VLAN 20. Okay, so you may be moving cables. You're going to create a cable matrix. Okay, cable 1 goes to cable 5 of the new switch. Cable 3 of the old 2 of the cable's last switch goes to port 24 on the new one. Okay, you're going to create that matrix. All right. Okay, you're going to go back and make sure and verify your work. All right, and then you're going to tell the field tech, okay, hey, all right, not only, okay, are we going to do this in a structured fashion, okay, what I need you to do, okay, do you have a label maker? Okay, no. Okay, so now you made a mistake. You need your engineer, your field tech to have a label maker. So next time you do this, you're going to make sure that field tech has a label maker. All right? Cow Incorporated is even going to supply it for the field techs, because none of the field techs have, have bought and enabled a label maker and put it in their their toolbox, right? So from that concept, all right, notice how this story keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper, and I keep flowing, okay? Because I've done this enough, all right? So now you created your cable matrix, and now you've had him label every cable that is sitting in the old switch. All he's going to do is say cable, cable 1, cable 2, cable 3, cable 4, cable 5, all of the 24, okay, all right, or 48, it doesn't really matter. You're going to do that, okay? So whatever he pulls that cable out, and you'll say, oh, whoa, hold on, shit, damn, that's going into the wrong part. Let me research that, and blah, 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 blah. But you also got to understand, okay, space is not always available. The only way for him to actually do this successfully is he has to unpull all the cables from the old switch and unrack it, because that's the only rack space he has for the new switch. Okay? So now he has to put that in place, and now all these cables are hanging. He's not going to know what port 1 was, but he is now, because now, okay, he knows what every cable was going to, because he labeled them. And that was your direction to do so. Okay? All right? You saw this as a problem, and you took the initiative to bring it to attention and make sure that field tech has a label maker. Okay? All right? I don't care if the individual has scotch tape and loose leaf paper. Okay? Have them cut strips of paper and hand write port 1, port 2, port 3 on there, and just scotch tape it on there. Okay? All right? Just wrap it around and just tape the paper together. All right? And just let it dangle on the actual cable. As long as it's labeled, it's labeled. I don't care, okay, if the guy says number 1 is blue, number 3 is orange, number 2 is yellow, okay, and he has star stickers with those colors on it, okay. He has some type of legend. He has some type of way of recognizing and labeling those cables. Okay, I don't care if it takes a magic marker, which anyone probably would have, or he could be in Walmart, all right, and buy, okay, a magic marker and expense it. All right, and say, hey, look, man, this bottom marker, and just sell it and fill an expense report. Okay, we'll give you your money back for the marker. It's only going to be $1. All right, the chances of that field tech not being able to do that. Okay, not to mention the fact that it could be scenarios where he doesn't have any money until his next paycheck. He's living paycheck to paycheck. Understandable. Okay, all right. Maybe I'll bring another field tech out there with the company's credit card to actually buy $1, because the penalty of not getting that work done way beyond the concept of paying someone to drive down to that location and provide them a credit card to buy a $1 marker. Okay? It's justifiable because that delay causes other delays down the road, and I don't want to be hit with a $10,000 a day penalty. Okay, so I'm going to do whatever it takes. We as a team are going to do whatever it takes to get this job done as scheduled. Okay, so I don't care if you take a magic marker, all right, and draw lines on the cable. One line for cable one, port one, 2 lines for port 2, all the way up to 24 lines. Yeah, okay, he's going to count 24 lines. Okay, so this port went to 24. Okay, that he put on the cable with a marker, all right, to label that cable. All right, somehow it needs to go back in the same port because those ports are in different VLANs. Now, if they're all in the same VLAN, it doesn't really matter. Okay, all right. Sometimes you have to move based on your way of designing it. Now you're going to take all the ports of VLAN 5 and put them in switch 2, okay, because there's enough ports in VLAN 5 to fill up an entire switch. Maybe you're going to do it that way. Switch 1 is on VLAN 10, switch 2 is on VLAN 5, this one's on VLAN 7, okay, all right, okay, initially that's what you're going to do, all right. Now later on, as we're adding new ports, someone's going to have to manually go in there and change those ports to a proper VLAN, but that's not the concept. Your concept, as far as the change is concerned, okay, we are separating VLANs via each switch because there's the same number of VLANs that there are switches, and that's how we're going to do it. Okay, so cable 1 of switch 1, okay, that is moving over to switch 4, okay, and port 15, okay. However, if you're doing it via VLANs, it doesn't matter. All you know is port 5, 7, 9, and 10, okay, all right, or switch 1, all goes in switch 4. Who cares? Because I did it VLAN by VLAN basis, okay, all right, or you can do a port by port, whatever is comfortable with you, all right. However, these choices in this scenario, okay, are not yours. It's already been decided how we're going to do this. That's that cookie cutter part, okay? Now, you're happy. You're on a contract. You're getting paid the money you want to get paid. This is great. You're succeeding on your projects, man. You're having fun. You're enjoying the chill of your job, okay? And you're on a 5-year project, man. Most projects have been 3 months, man. You're golden. Now you can make life changes, life plans, life goals. Okay, because you own a 5-year contract, and 3 months later, you're fired. And you have no idea why. Now, in the background, what you didn't know is, okay, I don't have enough money to pay you guys. Okay, and what I'm going to do is now I'm going to take the routing and switch guys that are doing that work, okay, and take that cookie cutter thing and give it to the voice guys. Because now the voice guys are going to need to do their work, okay, all right, and I can have them do the entire change now and take all 5 of my route and switch guys and say, bye-bye, that's money I'm saving. I have literally cut my staff in half and cut the money that I have to pay them per week in half. That's more money to Kyle Incorporated, all right, and now I have the voice guys doing the work, and they're happy because they just seen 5 people get fired, all right, and they're happy to still have their jobs, okay, all right. Now, from the person who got fired, you look at that as bad business, and that's fine. You can look at it any way you want, okay, all right. You can look at it as shady as hell, okay, but have no illusions, all right. These companies are not your friends. You are providing a service, okay. And making plans in life, all right, might not be possible, all right, because you can't seem to be working 12 months out of the year, okay? You got a contract this year, that's great, but every time you can't last more than 6 months. And the next thing you know, you're asking other people, man, are you having the same problem? No, I don't have that problem at all, okay? And you start realizing that your path can't be the way it is. It must be me doing something wrong, okay? But you're not on the same path as them, okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, when you are trying to make changes in your life, obstacles in your way triple and quadruple, okay, your path, okay? Because you are changing, and with change, there are obstacles. So you're aggressively trying to get to an engineer position and making changes, okay? The original part of my career, I moved every year. So when a background check was done, okay, let's say I had to go back 7 years, but every year I had moved. I had moved because I went where the work was at, okay? And I'm talking about even a 2-hour travel time, okay? I'm going to take my stuff in my apartment, okay, with my family, and we're moving to another town 2 hours south, okay, for that year, and then we're going to move where we need to go next, okay, whether it's out of state, regardless, depends on how you're doing this, okay? All right, I'm doing whatever it takes to accelerate my career. So I am going to have obstacles of the yin-yang. The other person that you're communicating with that you can't fit, has no common reference because that individual has never gotten any promotions, advanced, or anything, and has sat there and vegetated for 5 years, okay? All right. However, that income coming in, because that's all he cared about, he gets to make plans, goals. He's driving a nice car. He bought a house. Okay, you can't do these things because you are not following that process of vegetating. Okay, and you're looking at it from the perspective, I don't get this. I'm trying to succeed. This person's not doing anything, and this person is succeeding without even trying, and I'm trying to succeed, and I keep getting railroaded. Hey, welcome to life, champ. All right, welcome to life. Anything you're trying to accomplish, not only are you going to have Murphy Law, okay, Mr. Murphy, interfere with that process, okay, people that you know who knows what you're trying to accomplish because, you keep telling people what you're doing, all right, you're going to learn quickly that maybe you need to keep your stuff to yourself because now those individuals that you don't even know and people you do know that should be supporting you are the ones causing the obstacles and hindering your process, indirectly or directly, okay, due to jealousy, due to vindictiveness, whatever. You're too busy focusing on what you're doing and you're not paying attention to what they're doing, hurting you in the background. This is real talk, guys. This is real shit. All right? So sometimes you look back and take back, okay, and readjust what you're doing, which is why I went to the knock. Now, a knock position, okay, is a different work schedule a lot of times, and sometimes it's just 8 hours a day and you're fine. Mine, okay, were 12-hour shifts, okay, all right? It would be a 15-hour shift if someone had to go to the doctor, stuff like that. You're going to be covering the shift until he shows up. Okay, maybe he's sick. All right, you might do a double. Okay, all right. So for 4 days straight, I will work for 12-hour shift. Okay, and then I was off for 3 days. Okay, come back, work for 3 days, 12-hour shifts, and then I was off for 4 days. Okay, that was my schedule as a knock person. Okay, a knock admin or whatever you want to call myself. Call what I was doing. All right, this, even though I was an engineer in a previous job, okay, all right, I had to declass myself as an engineer, come back to the knock, okay, and I never got to touch the command line not once as an engineer because I was engineering, all right, and I was not implementing because I was waiting for a clearance to come through, all right, and I had to get a clearance for another building to have access to that building because, like I said, guys, I was CCNA, all right? And what was I doing? I was hired as a network admin, and I was not doing networking. In fact, I could not even log into the devices. I had to use my little cleverness to work with the NOC team that they hired as a third party, who never even had access to the building. I was their hands and eyes. Okay, whenever there was network problem, I'm the one that got to report the problem to the NOC. Okay, and luckily, okay, I befriended them with respect, common respect, and common decency. Okay, telling them I'm a CCNA, I can help you in any way, shape, or form. Okay, and now and every time there's a problem, I ask them, hey, would you mind sharing your screen, so I can see what you're doing? I can't have access to it, but hey, I would love to look at the command line. All right, and hell yeah, they're going to let you do that. They'll go out of their way, okay, to try to get you connected to their PC in some way, shape, or form. 9 times out of 10, it's not a problem. It's just a WebEx, okay? GoToMeeting. GoToMeeting is my favorite one. It always works. All right, when I was doing my free classes on the weekends, that's what I used, GoToMeeting. I paid it out of pocket, okay? And I could have up to 50 people in my meeting, which I never got to. All right, I would get to around, max I ever had was probably 20 people. All right, so it was perfect plan. All right, $50 a month. Okay, and I can have as many conferences as I want, and I could actually literally let people know on YouTube we're having the free class this weekend. Please come and join. All right, I will paste the actual GoToMeeting. All right, in the actual thing, in the video, right, and people will just show up. Okay, perfect. All right, so they're going to go out of their way to be able to send your conference. 9 times out of 10, they have that ability because they're dealing with clients, and they need to communicate with their clients via a meeting, all right, and be able to see their screens and things like that. So they're going to send you that invite, and now they get to share their screen to you, and now you get to see, and now you get to ask questions. You're a CCNA. You have some knowledge. It's like, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you show me what, because as I'm looking at this, can you show me what VLAN port number 5 is in? Sure. Okay, it's in VLAN 12. Okay, no, that doesn't make any sense. Someone wants to move this cable, okay, because it should be in 15. All right, and the ports are filled up. Oh, I see what someone did. Okay, they added their own personal computer. Okay. All right, so they can actually have a server as providing a service and a resource as using a laptop to provide the service. Okay, and they just unplugged it and plugged it into any port. All right, that's why it's in a different VLAN. They switched ports, and they switched ports because that was the length of the cable. They had, all right, and we're talking about a switch that has 9 rows of modules. Modules has 48 ports. Okay, so he could not get to the port that had the module that had 3 ports. Okay, so he had to put it in line at the very, very top port. That's all the cable he had coming from one port to the other. All right, he cut it too short. So he just unplugged the cable and plugged it back in. Not realizing that the infrastructure in the background that port needed to be moved from VLAN 12 to 15. Okay? So your hands and eyes provided support for the NOC. But you got to do it. You got to do it because you asked to share a screen. That's a simple request. So don't be scared. Okay? The worst thing they can tell you is no. Alright? And then just move on. Alright? Eventually you're going to get there. Alright? So now, I'm a network engineer. And I know I can't handle it. So I'm not going to fake it until I make it. That's some bullshit. Like I said before. I'm going to go back and get the skill set that I need so I can make it. Alright, screw faking it. So I went back and I specifically found another job that was not an engineer position, mid-level pay, okay? All right, which those jobs in my area are abundant. Okay, all right, but eventually you're going to get to the point where your skill set's too high, where they're not going to want you because they feel you're overqualified. All right, so you try to fake that and try to dumb your knowledge down. Okay, that in itself, all right, that in itself causes more problems. A job that you're perfect for, you undersold yourself. Now you're not experienced enough, even though you are. All right? So my advice is just be who the fuck you are. All right? Forget all those games, guys. This is not a game. Okay? This is your life. And all those games, especially, and you'll see it, guys. You'll see it. You'll see that one guy, okay? And you'll see it many times. He comes into an organization and his method, okay, is providing a persona of his intellect, okay? And everyone's looking up to him, all right? You could be on your seat, and it's and again, kind of reference here from my perspective, all right? I went through this. I'm going through CCIE training, okay? There's another guy who's going through CCIE training, okay? I know more about OSPF than he does, all right? But people look up to him because they know him. I'm just a contractor that came in, okay? And the other contractor that came in as well, okay, he's in competition with me. I'm looking at him as a co-worker. He's looking at me as competition. So he has to prove to other people and create a persona that doesn't exist, okay, to shine, okay? And it worked. Okay, because their attitude on that particular contract was perception was reality, and they're dead wrong, so dead wrong, and they allowed that to rule that contract. Okay, always worrying about covering your ass. That's a game, and I ain't got time for it. All right, that's me personally. I don't need to cover my ass. What I need to do is be honest and truthful. Okay, now, if I need to cover my ass from a perspective of logging sessions, that's not me covering my ass. That has the potential of covering my ass when they try to blame you for something that you didn't do, yes, but that session is necessity, okay, because that's me covering my work from the perspective of not of the unknowns. I might have to go back to that months later, and check the logs in that text file that I saved all my logs or logged my session. I might have to go back in there and look at something, that ended up happening in the logs that I didn't catch, and that's why we're having the problems that we're having now. So that's not me covering my ass. That's me covering that's me doing my job. Does that make sense? I mean, the verbiage that I used in that scenario really wasn't on point, but you get the idea, okay? Some people are so focused on that game of covering their ass, they're not doing their work. All right? Okay? They think this is a skill set. They think this is a necessity. They think this is them advancing, and they're not. They're running to stand still. Let me rephrase that. Running to stand still. And when you run, you need to be moving uphill, advancing, high ground. Okay? Because the more you do that, and your choices is based on growth, at some point, you're going to be looking at your friends, okay, that are not in your field, and your co-workers that are in your field, you're going to be looking at them as little ants as you fly above and watch your shadow, okay, advance across the clouds as you're flying high. What did Pink Floyd say? Across the clouds I see my shadow fly. That, my friends, is growth. Okay, we covered a lot of stuff today. Okay, the scenario is giving you an understanding of what your job could be. Okay, there are many scenarios. All right. Okay, and this is part of a philosophy that I wanted to bring you as a means of just sitting down, having, coffee, coffee with Cisco. Okay, all right, that's what this video is all about. Sorry, we're looking at the screen. I just realized what screen we're looking at, but I wasn't looking at the screen. Okay, I was focused on the information I was just talking about. Okay, so this screen has no relevance to this video whatsoever. I should have made a picture. All right. But I wasn't thinking, so I'm sorry about that. But nonetheless, guys, no matter what, and you know what I'm going to say, be strong, be determined, be Cisco.